Employing more than 4,600 people in over 40 countries across the world, Rothschild & Company is a prestigious financial powerhouse in the global advisory, wealth management, asset management, and alternative assets markets, boasting a whopping 78.1 billion euros of assets under management. The Rothschild family name is synonymous with wealth, power, and a banking dynasty. It's not just banking and finance, though. Rothschild & Company is also heavily invested in railways, mining, petroleum, and wineries. The family was elevated to noble rank in the Holy Roman Empire and the United Kingdom. During the 19th century, the Rothschild family possessed the largest private fortune in the world, as well as in modern world history. Unfortunately, amassing this kind of wealth no doubt puts a bullseye on your back. Not everyone is rooting for you to succeed, and throughout history, there has never been a shortage of haters. This has led to widespread speculation and numerous conspiracy theories about how this legendary family made, kept, and grew their vast fortune. In this video, we are going to look at some of the biggest conspiracy theories involving the Rothschild family over the past 200 years. They are one of the most powerful and secretive families in the world. A dynasty built on gold, banks, and some say deception. But what's the truth behind the Rothschilds? Let's dive into the scandal, the conspiracy, and the mystery surrounding this legendary family. Our story begins in the late 1700s with a man named Mayer Amschel Rothschild, a banker in Germany. Born in a Jewish ghetto in Frankfurt, he started out as a coin dealer but quickly realized there was much more money to be made in banking. His intelligence and ambition led him to gain favor with wealthy aristocrats, including the powerful Prince William of Hesse. Through these connections, he built a fortune, but his real genius lay in how he expanded that fortune. Mayer had 5 sons, and he had a grand vision for them: conquer the banking world, not through war, but through finance. Each son was sent to a different financial capital in Europe to establish a Rothschild banking empire. Nathan went to London, Jacob to Paris, Salomon to Vienna, Karl to Naples, and Amschel stayed in Frankfurt. This was more than just business. It was a strategy to control the flow of money across an entire continent. By secretly sharing information across borders faster than any government, the Rothschilds gained an edge that made them nearly untouchable. They loaned money to kings, funded wars, and manipulated markets to their advantage. But the secrecy of their operations led to whispers. Were they really just bankers or puppet masters of the financial world? 1815, the Battle of Waterloo. While Napoleon fought the British, the Rothschilds were fighting a different battle, the Battle of Information. The family had a secret network of couriers, faster than anyone else, and legend has it that Nathan Rothschild, the head of the British branch, got news of Napoleon's defeat before anyone else in London. But what did he do with that information? According to some, he tricked the stock market. By pretending Britain had lost, he sent investors into a panic, making stocks crash. Then, just as everyone was selling in fear, the Rothschilds bought everything for pennies on the dollar. When the truth came out, they were richer than ever. But was this just a clever business move or something more sinister? Some claim Nathan Rothschild orchestrated this on purpose, using his wealth to manipulate the market and profit from war. Others argue that this was simply an example of quick thinking and an early version of modern high-speed trading. Either way, this single event solidified the Rothschild family's reputation, not just as powerful bankers, but as financial masterminds who could move entire economies with a single decision. With wealth comes control. And by the 19th century, the Rothschilds weren't just rich, they were calling the shots. Governments turned to them for loans, kings and queens were in their debt, and their influence stretched across the globe. But were they pulling the strings behind the scenes? Some believe the Rothschilds helped manipulate wars, funding both sides to ensure they always won. Others say they had a hand in creating central banks, controlling the money supply itself. A family so powerful they could make or break entire nations. Take, for example, the formation of central banks. The Rothschilds were instrumental in establishing some of the most influential financial institutions in history. In England, they were deeply involved in the Bank of England's rise to power. In France, they had close ties with the Banque de France. Their network allowed them to influence the money supply, setting interest rates that could affect entire economies. And then there's the United States. Some believe the Rothschilds had a hand in the creation of the Federal Reserve in 1913, a private banking institution that controls America's money. While there's no concrete proof, many conspiracy theorists claim that the Rothschilds' influence is still embedded in the global banking system. There's also the claim that the Rothschilds have played a hidden role in economic crises. The Panic of 1893, the Great Depression of 1929, the 2008 financial crisis. Each time, rumors swirl that the Rothschilds somehow benefited while the world suffered. Could they really be orchestrating financial collapses, only to buy up assets when prices are at their lowest? Or is this just another chapter in the book of financial paranoia? What's undeniable is that the Rothschilds knew how to stay ahead of the game. Their banking strategies, their secrecy, and their ability to lend money to kings and nations gave them a level of power that most could only dream of. But did they use that power for good, or did they use it to manipulate the very fabric of global finance? That is the question that still lingers. The 20th century brought two of the most devastating conflicts in history, World War I and World War II. And the Rothschilds? They were once again at the center of it all. Some historians believe they played a role in financing both sides, ensuring that no matter the outcome, their power remained intact. During World War I, it's said that they funded both the British and French governments, while also having financial ties to German industries. But the real controversy comes with World War II. Documents suggest the Rothschild-controlled banks in France were seized by the Nazis, but some speculate that the family had arrangements allowing them to maintain influence over European banking even as war raged on. And what about after the war? Some researchers claim that Rothschild-linked banks helped facilitate secret transactions that aided in the rebuilding of Europe's financial elite. Were they simply survivors of war, or did they profit from one of the darkest times in human history? As you can see, over the past 200 years, there has never been a shortage of Rothschild conspiracy theories, with some people going so far as to believe that the Rothschilds secretly control the weather, creating tsunamis, floods, earthquakes, and other natural disasters in order to profit from the chaos they create. But here's where things take an interesting turn. Remember that Battle of Waterloo with Napoleon and Nathan Rothschild? What if I told you that it didn't happen, that Nathan wasn't there? As it turns out, that entire story was created years later. In the mid-19th century, when French anti-Semite Georges Derneville, under the pseudonym Satan, published a pamphlet alleging Nathan Rothschild witnessed France's defeat in the Battle of Waterloo in 1815 and returned to London before the news broke to make 20 million francs on the stock exchange. All of this was false. Here's what Satan wrote.
Nathan Rothschild, the founder of the London branch of the bank, was a spectator on the battlefield that day in June 1815, and, as night fell, he observed the total defeat of the French army. This was what he was waiting for. A relay of fast horses rushed him to the Belgian coast, but there he found to his fury that a storm had confined all ships to port. Undaunted. "Does greed admit anything is impossible?" asked Satan. He paid a king's ransom to a fisherman to ferry him through wind and waves to England. Reaching London 24 hours before official word of Wellington's victory, Rothschild exploited his knowledge to make a killing on the stock exchange. In a single coup, he gained 20 million francs.
Beyond all doubt, this tale was anti-Semitic in intent. Satan was in reality a left-wing controversialist called Georges Derneville, who made no attempt to hide his loathing for Jews, and the Rothschilds in particular. Every aspect of Derneville's tale, the ruthlessness, the guile, the greed, represents a derogatory racial stereotype, and he was writing at a moment when such attitudes were having one of their periodic surges of popularity in Europe. Confirmation bias is the tendency to search for, interpret, favor, and recall information in a way that confirms or supports one's prior beliefs or values. The story was also false. Nathan Rothschild was not at Waterloo or even in Belgium at the time. There was no Channel Storm, and he made no great killing on the stock market. And the story itself came out in 1846, 10 years after Nathan's death, so he wasn't around to refute or debunk the myth. But due to confirmation bias as well as an anti-Semitic culture at the time, the publication would be translated into multiple languages and reprinted many times throughout the world. Versions appear in a Hollywood film of 1934 and the 2009 Sebastian Faulks novel A Week in December. In past editions of the Dictionary of National Biography and Encyclopedia Britannica, and in Elizabeth Longford's acclaimed 1970s biography of the Duke of Wellington. And just like that, a made-up story by a racist becomes fact, spurring 200 years of conspiracy theories, from the manipulation of central banking to the weather. It goes to show how dangerous fake news can be. What's even scarier is this was all done without the use of modern technology like deepfake. We are now in the misinformation age of society. So the next time you see or hear something, don't be like the sheep who blindly accept it as the truth. Use your best judgment in sifting out facts from fiction. As for the Rothschilds and their 200 years of conspiracy theories, what are your thoughts? Is it all false anti-Semitic misinformation and outright lies? Are the stories facts that the wealthy Rothschilds are trying to make you believe to be false? Or does the truth lie somewhere between the two? Let us know in the comments below. As always, Necessary Evil Entertainment reminds you to be good or be good at it. Thanks for watching, and we will see you on the next video.